Oh, very good. Uber finances. So Uber. The definition of Uber, it means being a superlative example of its kind or class. Uber finances. Uber or extreme. Extreme to the excessive degree. Uber finances. Like how your finances, they're Uber. I mean, my finances are Uber. And that word, if you do, you take the, don't you love your iPhone? I mean, not like you love your dog or your wife, but you love your iPhone. Different kind of love. And then you can talk to it and you say, Siri, can you interpret Uber for me? What does Uber mean in English? And, I did that with a translator on my cell phone and it said, Supercharge. So Uber's like supercharged. So the Greek equivalent in the Bible is svodra, and that means vehemently, to a high degree, exceedingly, and greatly. That was when the wise men, when they saw the star, they came out of Herod's place, and Herod was, I'm not sure where he is, but tell me if you find him. They came out, they saw the star. It says they rejoiced with exceeding great joy, and they had uber joy. The wise men were uber joyed when they saw the star again, and they followed the star to Jesus, and they got a revelation of who he was. So vehemently, in a high degree, exceedingly, and greatly. Say Uber. All right, good. All right, this is a little quote from Pastor Cheryl. Said, when Jesus broke the rules and upset the apple cart, he challenged the status quo. He did so in order to illustrate God's priorities. I mean, in a context, in a group of people, in a nation that God had called to himself to manifest himself, those people and all the religious leaders of the day didn't recognize Jesus when he came. In fact, when Jesus introduced himself and even said who he was, they said, no, that's not it. I remember when I was first here, I had a lovely lady, Joyce Poneggy, and I used to visit her, and Joyce suddenly lost all of her short-term memory, and she could tell me stories from her childhood and all kinds of things, but she couldn't remember if she'd taken her medication recently, so she was in the nursing home, and I would go see her, but when I went and saw Joyce, I'd walk in, and I'd say, Joyce, how are you? It's Pastor Karl. She says, no, that's not it. No, really, it is. I'm Pastor Karl. She says, no. And then I'd convince her, I'd show her and get her convinced. And then 10 minutes later, she'd say, who are you again? I say, Pastor Karl. She'd say, no, that's not it. And I went, that's unfortunate, But I really am Pastor Karl. But, Jesus came, and the people who should have recognized him didn't. And he said, I am Jesus. I am the Messiah. I'm the Son of God. I mean, people in the crowd were going, the Son of David, have mercy on us. And it just made the people who should have known it was him mad. And they decided the only way out of this is we're going to kill him. I wonder if Jesus really invaded his own people today, those who should recognize him. I wonder if he came, if we would even recognize it was him. I wonder if we'd be offended by how he felt about things in the world today. Sometimes we represent how we think God feels about stuff. And they were so offended at what Jesus embraced. I mean, he was a friend of sinners. He was a party animal. He hung out with sinners and publicans. I mean, it was awful what Jesus did, and they didn't like that. I wonder if he came today, would we like what we saw? Would we embrace him? Church needs an Uber revival. This is good stuff. It says the religious elite of his day were masters of marginalization, discrimination, violence, and hatred, often dressed up in sheep's clothing of legal righteousness and religious zeal. That's some good stuff right there. And it's true. And you know what? You take that out of saying in Jesus' day, you observe a lot of what happens in the name of the church today, and you can say that same description is there, sadly. Thank you for your total agreement there. That was good. However, one has to only look to Jesus, the fullness of God's self-disclosure. Like if you want to know what God the Father is like, it says Jesus is the full manifestation of God. Well, there's some Old Testament stuff that I'm really concerned about. Well, the Old Testament stuff happened in an Old Testament context with Old Testament people who are living in an Old Testament world and mindset. But Jesus, God said, when I really want to communicate and I want to give a self-disclosure of me, Jesus is exactly me. If you want to know what the Father's like, Jesus is the full expression of the Father. Look to Jesus, the fullness of God's self-disclosure, the very explication of God, to find example after example of what divine priority really looks like. That was by the one of the most wonderful current day theologians I know, Cheryl Thomas. Yeah, true. All right, we're going to step into Uber finances. All right, just grab your wallet right now. Hang on. It could be a rough one. All right. It's good. Some of you got too much in your wallet. It's causing a displacement in your hip. Just need to Just need to loose some more of that in the offering. All right, so, okay. Proverbs chapter 8, 17 and 18 says, I love those who love me, and those who seek me will find it very, very difficult to find me. I love whenever God says those who seek me, he never says it's hard. He says he find me. It's like playing hide and go seek with a 2-year-old. He goes, okay, go hide. And you go, and then they turn around, you're right there. I know. I want to be found by you. God wants to be found by you. He's not like, please seek me. And then he's running away from you. He's standing right there. It's like, go ahead, count to 3. You're like, 1, 2, 3. Jesus, you're right there. Yes, I am, because I want to be found. He doesn't want to be difficult or complicated. You don't have to jump through 500 hoops or fast 700 years or, don't eat turtles at Christmas. If you seek me, you will find me. What's he saying? It's my will to be found by you. So it's good. If you seek me. And then look what he says. With me are riches and honor, enduring wealth and prosperity. You want to find him now? Okay, relax. It's all right. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 24 is from the Amplified Classic version. It's annoying when they change these versions around, and I've still got the classic version, but they've updated it. But anyways, this is the classic Amplified version. The blessing of the Lord. I like the blessing of the Lord. The blessing of the Lord. How many got the blessing of the Lord? You are blessed of God. God loves you. He blesses his children. Well, let me tell you what the blessing of the Lord is like. The blessing of the Lord, it makes truly rich, and he adds no sorrow with it, neither does toiling increase it. True story. These are just Bible verses. That's all they are. They're just stuff that God telling us some stuff about himself. The Good News Translation says it's the Lord's blessing that makes you wealthy. It's the Lord's blessing that makes you wealthy. It says hard work can make you no richer. Settle down. Your enthusiasm's killing me. How many remember the story about Jacob and Esau? Remember 2 brothers? Remember? They were fighting right from day one. But Esau, he wanted a cup of soup because Joseph was hung around with mom and had some really good cooking skills. And Esau was out in the field all day, and he came in, he goes, that smells awesome, give me some of that. And he said, if you give me your birthright. And he literally, he despised his birthright. That's really what happened. He literally was like, who cares about my birthright? That was the blessing of the Father. He said, I would rather have that cup of soup right now than the blessing of God. And so Jacob went, deal. And he made an exchange. He really did. He said, bing, bang. So you know what? Jacob said, you know what? He made a deal with me. He gave me the birthright. So Jacob dressed up like his brother, went into dad when he was having his last breaths. He said, bless me, Father. And he goes, is that you, Esau? And he went, and he says, feels like you, but your voice sounds like, your brother. Isn't it amazing? You know what? You come into the presence of God, and you might be hairy and brutish and smell funny. But when you come and you speak to him, it's the voice of Jesus. He hears Jesus, and he's ready to pour the blessing on you, even if you've been out in the field and smell a bit funky. There's a real good lesson in there, but we don't have time for that right now. But, what was Esau mad about when he came back in and found out that Jacob got the blessing? What was he mad about? That Jacob now had the deed to the farm, that he took the Rolls Royce, that he took the Cadillac? What was he mad about? He was mad that he took the blessing. Because you know what? Nothing else really matters. Because if you have the blessing, even if there's no possessions attached to it, when you have the blessing itself has the power to produce wealth. The blessing itself has the ability to bring in. See, God does not bless you out of all that he has. It's not like God says, I only got 10 more left. Who wants one? Oops, 9. Oops, better get up quick. God is running out of blessing. The blessing is according to, it's not out of. That means if God says, I am this big, he can bless you according to this big, which means all of this big can be yours. And if I took it all, guess what? There's still all for you. It never runs out. You still operate out of the all of God. I don't know how it works, but he's never depleted. There's always more. There's always abundance. There's always more than you can ever imagine, because God's the one who said, let there be light, and there was light, says, let there be, and there's a full manifestation of every single need that you have any desire of your heart. It's all found found in him. He's the Father of lights. He's the giver of every, not good gifts, but every good gift. And there's no shadow of turning. He's constantly going to be good. He's constantly going to pour his blessing on you.